Okay.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Marquez Jones, first year intern for UEP.
Cool, cool. All right. So today we're going to be talking about stress management. So this is my perspective. So there's different types of stress. There's good stress and bad stress. And so good stress is like, alert, alert, like alerts of completing tasks like, oh, I have to get food, or like knowing that you have to do certain things. Bad stress is like overthinking, worrying about things that you can't really fix, or something that's far in the future, stuff like that. So you have to identify which type of stress you're dealing with. So if there's physical methods, so yoga, um, you can take on yoga. I, I'm gonna start next week with my friend, over FaceTime, of course. Um, yoga is like it's a relaxer. Dancing, um, dancing is another thing to keep blood flow and all that. To something to get your mind off of what you're stressing about. And also exercising, you can do individual, um, like sports, like basketball, shoot some hoops, tennis, do jog around the neighborhood, or running, stuff like that. And mental methods. So meditation, there are a bunch of apps out there and YouTube videos on meditation. And I know I watched a YouTube video, and it was really helpful. Like there was one about you have to lay down, breathe, think about where you are, just to center yourself again. And in naps, you can also take naps. Yes, you're in quarantine inside and all you do is sleep, but an actual schedule set, like a set in schedule set naps help as well. And um, trying to also take naps outside of your sleeping cycle. So I read somewhere saying that if you sleep under 30 minutes, or sleep more than an hour and 30 minutes, that stays out of your sleep cycle. So if you sleep in between 30 minutes, an hour and 30, if that makes sense, you go into that sleep cycle and it'll make you more drowsier when you wake up. So if you want to take a nap, take a nap that's less than 30 minutes or more than an hour, 30 minutes. Journaling to jot down what you're stressed about helps as well. And you just letting it out, just another vacuum of releasing your bad stress. Okay. And social methods. So you have time to like communicate with your family members that you haven't talked to in a while. See like, hey, how's it going? Friends that you haven't seen in a while. And also like religious groups also help get just different things to get your mind off of what you're stressing about. That's basically how you would manage stress. Um, I talked to some friends from high school that I haven't talked to since the first year of college, and I was like, okay, cool, cool. Family members back. I'm Nigerian, and I was able to communicate with my cousins, and I haven't talked to them in years as well. Like it's nice to like think about other things besides school, work, and then what's going on in the world right now. And now Marquez.
All right, again, Marquez Jones, first year grad student from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I intern with UEP. So this is from my perspective. Um, all right, so how to manage stress. So find an activity, person, or space that allows you to be grounded or refreshed. Some activities that you can do that really can take your mind off of things that may be going that could negatively affect your mental space. Watching TV, right? I watch a lot of TV. I have my set TV shows that I watch all the time. Certain shows on Netflix, CW at the CW app, whatever it may be. Playing a video game. I also do this a lot, especially when I feel overwhelmed with something. I just kind of move everything to the side and just, sit back, relax, play some video game, and listen to music. Reading a book for fun and not just for schoolwork. So a lot of people read. So this is a good way to kind of like de-stress your mental and get rid of some of that capacity within your mind at that moment. Writing poetry is a very creative way to focus your mind and your energy on one certain thing, kind of like reading a book, but it's a little bit more active. Um, and then also painting. Painting is actually very calm. If you've never painted before, I suggest that you do it, even if even if you don't think you're good at it. I started last year and got a lot better, but it also takes some time away from, like I said, the negative stuff that might be going on in your life. And like Uche said, have those people in your life as well that can help you kind of manage that stress. So partners, so boyfriends, girlfriends, spouses, whatever it may be, those people can create stress sometimes, but most times if they're in your inner circle, something like that, they could alleviate a lot of that stress that you might be facing, as well as your friends and your family. But also kind of talking about that family aspect, since we are at home due to COVID and Corona, you might be with your family, right? So make sure you kind of reserve a certain space in your house for work related items, because parents, guardians, whoever may live with, might not really understand that you might need a space to be a student, because this is different than being in the classroom. So find that space, find that office space, wherever you might have. You can be outside, sun porch, whatever you might find. So your residence also could be a place where you can just be grounded. And some people like to go walk in the park, kind of free your mind. So all these things are ways to manage stress. Learn to not take more in than you can. So one thing that I learned, especially from undergrad, and it's kind of being active now in my grad life, is learn how to say no, right? Don't think you can save the world. Don't think you have to say yes to every single thing that everybody requests you to do, whether that be teachers, whether that be student affairs professionals, whether that be student organizations. Don't take more than you can, because that just adds stress. Also, know your limits and what you can and can't handle. That's kind of moving with the first thing. Don't take more than you can. You have to know within yourself what you're capable of, what your capacity is, and don't feel like you have to be Superman, Superwoman all the time. Also, realizing that your time is valuable, right? There's 24 hours in a day, but you have to be able to allocate that time for yourself, and not let other people kind of dictate your time. So your time is valuable, treat it as such. And then lastly, leave time for yourself. There's going to be a lot of times that you need to just take a minute, right? Take a minute, take an hour, however long it may be, to kind of recollect yourself. And that's what practicing that self-care is like. So make sure you have time for yourself. Make sure you have time to eat, because some people forget to eat when you're stressed. So these are things that you might not have to think about on a normal basis, but when you're stressed, you forget the little things. So really just take that time for yourself. And just time management. Okay. Time management. If you overload yourself, then there's an easy way to get stressed, as I mentioned in the last slide. One thing that I do to kind of manage that stress slash that load that I have is making a to-do list of everything coming up, whether that be assignments or um, work-related items. Just write everything down, write everything out, put it in order of what's more important, what needs to get done ASAP, what can be held off into later in the week or later in the semester or whatever it may be, and really just check them off as you do them. It's really satisfying to know that you're checking one thing off, right? And then you just keep doing that until the list is completely gone. And a way to kind of alleviate some of that stress as well is to plan ahead. So if you're thinking about taking classes in the summer, if you have your whole entire syllabus, look what you can do now, right? So you don't have to do everything in the same week. You don't have to do everything in the same time frame. Plan ahead, get things done ahead of time. And then overall, just find what makes you happy and helps to ease your mind from the stress. So it's different for everybody. And like I said, I'm the type of person that likes technology items to kind of de-stress myself. So playing a video game, watching TV, listening to music, but also occasionally, even this semester, like I said, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I've went back probably once a month just to see my family, see my friends, see uh, my partner. So find what helps you, um, and it's not going to be the same for everybody. So yeah, we have references, but we'll probably should send that out. But does anybody have any questions for us or any comments? Anything at all? No.
Okay.
We have a question.
Mhm.
How do you manage your stress? So for the participants.
You find the motivation to follow through the plans that you create. Oh. How do I find motivation? How do you find the motivation to follow through with the plans that you create?
Is that for me?
Is to anyone? It's something in the chat.
I can't even view the chat. So how do you have
Like,
that motivation to go through with the plans that you create?
yeah.
That's a good question. For me, that motivation has always been there due to like what my ultimate end goal is. Um, like I want to. This is very far out there, but this is my motivation for everything. I want to be able to, have education, to have a good job, to have enough money to be financially satisfied in order to take care of my future family. So every time I maybe lack that motivation, I think about what the future holds if I don't do something or if I do something. So really finding that why behind why you're doing things, not uh, how or what. So really find what that inner thing is that's kind of pushing you forward and really grasp onto that and make sure that you are abiding by that um, every step of your life. So that was a long answer, but just really finding out why it's important for me to do what I need to do now for my future.
Yeah, and for me, it's usually something that I like. Like I like watching. Like there's a set of 5 shows that I watch. So I'm like, okay, if I if I do like finish one essay, I can watch these shows. That's what pushes me to like it's like a reward, kind of. It's like my own motivation. That's what I do. It's like, or if I finish this assignment, I can go play like beat a level in a video game or something like that. That's how I motivate. It's usually something I like, something I'm really interested in doing. Um, and then to avoid stress eating, um, what I do, so I do stress eat myself. I just, I don't know, it's more of a mental thing. Um, it's just, how do I even do it? I just like try to distract myself doing like other things. I try not to think about like going down to the kitchen. Sometimes I just go down and open the fridge and then go back to my room. Um, but I just distract myself, like, to eat. Um, Kyle says Animal Crossing distracts me. Yeah, that's that's a nice distraction. I heard my game is pretty good. Um, yeah. Well, yeah, for avoiding stress eating, for me, what I do is I just don't think about just distract myself.
Yeah,
Like,
kind
yeah.
of going off of that, I think what Uche said was really important. Kind of use it as a reward system. If you have all the stuff that could easily, be accessible, so all the food, all snacks, whatever it may be, because you're stressed, look at that to-do list, right? You can't get a snack until you complete this assignment or you complete this much of your assignment. And kind of manage that within your own self, which will allow you to continue to kind of chop down at that stress that you're feeling with whatever it may be, the assignments, whether it be people, whether it be work. Just know that you have to kind of set benchmarks for yourself in order to um, get the reward at the end of the day.
Um, yeah, I was gonna ask Valeria. And I feel as if some professors are asking us to do a lot of workload. How can we deal with the stress and not give up? Um, yeah, with that, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. I'm just looking like if we were face to face, it wouldn't be the same. So what are y'all doing? But just talk to like your own classmates. Be like, hey, are y'all feeling the same way? Like going asking someone and seeing if they go through the same way, most likely they are, is like a relief. You're like, okay, you're not in this alone. You could also try talking to the professor, be like, hey, I'm going through this, or like, I don't think the workload, I think the workload is a bit much, just talking to them. They should be flexible. Um, just email them um, and work with them. They should work with you as well. You could also talk to campus resource CAPS if you're feeling like still feeling stressed and like still can't figure it out. You can also go talk to them, reach out to them. They're there to help. We are also a resource. You can also come to us and have any questions you have any more questions, you can still contact CAPS, us, classmates who are going through it, also professors as well. Yep. Any other questions? Oh, and also breaking up, Miss Victoria said, breaking up assignments into manageable parts is also helpful. Yes, I do agree. Like if you have like an essay to write and it's like 5 pages, do like intro and a paragraph in the morning, break, and then work on a different class and then come back to the essay in the evening. Just breaking it down does help. I do that too. Any other questions? Anything else? Oh. Oh, and also try to work with your classmates and see if it's okay to like share study guides with them and like just forming your own like study groups but virtually. Um, so you can go in depth and make sure you understand materials when final week is coming up pretty soon. Um, just forming those groups, just again talking with your classmates. It's another that's a small relief. There's a question. Do you have any tips for summer courses? How to talk to professors and other students when everything is online? I'm taking labs and classes.
I think
one thing to note is that all professors at the University of Houston and many of these schools that are kind of closed down or doing online classes, they are being told, like from the provosts and from the head of their departments, that realize that this is a flexible time due to Corona and due to COVID. So they are more understanding. But if they are less understanding than other professors, make sure you just voice your opinion, right? Send them an email and say how you really feel. You got to be very transparent with these professors because they're not going to know how you feel unless you speak up. And maybe another student feels the same way, but they don't want to speak up. So just make sure you're being professional, but also you're expressing how you truly feel with these courses because I know labs can be hard, especially if it's online. So just make sure that you're being transparent, open, and honest. And like Uche said, reach out to your fellow classmates. Maybe they have a way to help. Maybe they feel the same way, um, so that everything could be smoother in the end.
Yeah. For Kyle, you can use like Blackboard discussion groups. Sorry, group me for classes. I'm also taking a lab um, as well. I'm taking a bio lab, and the group me um, group chats, they're very helpful. If you voice your feelings, like how you feel to your professor, and it doesn't work out, you can also try contacting the dean because the professors should be flexible, should be able to, you know, listen, taking your response and help you through it and all that. So if they don't, you can contact the dean and say like, "Hey, I've done this, no change," and all that. Um, oh, someone.
And Nikhil, that's a very, very good point. Um, Kyle, I don't know if you could see that, but basically saying use the Blackboard calendar to see all the deadlines in a single view. And then you can organize, you can write things out, you can look at it from there to know what you got to do. And then also, um, the college deans wants their professors to be understood. So if they are not being understanding, make sure you reach out to the college deans or, well, first reach out to the professor and then reach out to the deans.
Yeah. Any more questions? And also, so what I do normally for like deadlines, if something's due on Friday, I put it in my phone in my planner due on Wednesday. So it's like I trick my brain into thinking, oh dang, it's due Wednesday. But when I actually turn it in, I'm like, oh wait, I did it early. So it's like a little trick. Usually it works for me because I have so many things in my head. So I forget the actual due date. So I put it in like right in the beginning. Once I get my syllabus, I put in usually a day or two before the actual deadline to make sure I get it in on time. Yep, yep. Lana actually taught me that, I think a year or two ago. Alana used to be another student leader in the office. Hmm. Any more questions or comments or concerns? Okay, well, if there's nothing, no, if y'all have no more questions, we're gonna end it. I want to thank y'all for tuning in and please stay safe. If you have to go out, please be careful. Try to stay indoors.